Anyone you recognise?
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me? Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Hi. Mute it there or stop the video. Oh, hello, Bev. Hi, Bev. Hello. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Margaret. Hello, Margaret. You need to go. Hello, you need to go horizontal, Bev. All right. Okay. Watch the screen. Okay, I'll do that.
He's in the garden.
I think it was.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
How are we all doing?
Okay.
This is good fun.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Welcome, everybody. Everybody's made it. So give me a wave if you can all hear me okay. So as long as you can mute yourselves, that's great. But just remember, people can hear you if you're whispering as well when you're unmuted. So if you talk about Indy and say that he's not very good at this, and he's not old enough to be a chairman, I can still hear you. Just make sure you find. So that was quite tricky for me last time because people were doing that whispering, thinking we couldn't hear, and then I was quickly trying to find the mute buttons, and yeah, so it was quite chaotic. So the first two are single choice, and the third one is multiple choice. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds just to have a go at that, just to make sure you get to grips with it. So I'm going to launch it now, so it should pop up on your screens. And I'm going to share the results with you, so fingers crossed this works. So my trick question, you did really well with. My trick question was, what colour is a daffodil bulb? And I was hoping you'd all say yellow, but 72% of you are pretty good at this. So well done. Excellent. Yep. Right, a couple of people asking us questions about buddleias, cutting back buddleias. Now they've got two different treatments in terms of pruning. The one on the left, which is a Davidii, you can cut that back as hard as you want, usually in springtime, and it will sprout back. The one on the right is Buddleia globosa. It's a different treatment, so you don't cut that back hard because that actually doesn't flower on this year's growth. It flowers on the second year's growth. So Janet was asking a question last time to say, I've got this plant with yellow pom-poms and it never flowers. I asked her how she was pruning it, and she was pruning it every year. So unfortunately she was pruning her flowers off before they even flowered. Now on the topic of buddleias, I thought it would just be nice to mention that there is a dwarf one, because with the standard buddleias they do spread quite a bit. They do self-seed and they are quite big. The Chelsea chop, does everybody know the Chelsea chop? Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. So you could do something similar with the buddleia. So you can cut it again, halfway through the season, or you could do it a couple of times, and it will just keep it shorter, so that you get a stockier plant. Now there's one called the Chelsea chop. There's one called the Hampton hack. So I was trying to think of a name to give this one because I don't believe one exists. So I have done it before with a wisteria, where I just keep pinching out the top shoot. So it just keeps sprouting, and I get a bushier plant. So I've come up with the weekly wallop, the monthly massacre, or the continuous clip. We'll hear this quite often where people say cut by a third, or cut to a third, or cut out a third. So I am going to hand over to Liz for a moment. I'm just going to stop this. So Liz, are you there?
Okay, sorry about that, everyone. I'm a beginner at this. Anyway, hello, and I'm going to talk to you just very quickly about how we name and how we spell, and the punctuation that we use when we're talking about plants in Latin. So this is a Poroskia, a triplicifolia, blue spire. Okay, and that is how you would set it out. if you were writing to a friend. So Perovskia is the genus to which this plant belongs, and it is spelt with a capital P or uppercase P. Atriciplifolia is the specific plant within the Perovskia genus.
Thank you very much, Liz. Really appreciate that. Can I ask everybody just to give her a round of applause for that? So that's perfect. See, that's the kind of thing we'd like, actually, so that I'm not sitting here talking for an hour in front of you guys. Everyone can sort of chip in and do various bits. So if anybody was willing to do something for next meeting, that'd be fantastic. Jill quite kindly sent to me a picture of this plant. So can anybody guess what this is? So fastest fingers first.
It's a strawberry tree and it's beautiful at the moment still. And the bumblebees are really
Jill, it's your question. You can't answer it.
Oh, sorry.
You jumped the gun there. Apparently they are edible. They don't taste very good, which is why it's called.
Yes.
I think that's where the name Unada comes from, which translated means eat once only.
Yes.
And what I didn't know was actually that runner beans are perennial. So if you leave the roots in place, they will actually grow back. So I got a free crop this year. If you know what nematodes are, can you just wave at the screen? Okay, cool. So use rainwater and either water at dusk or dawn. I thought it was a very helpful tip. But this guy, Toby Buckland, he used to present Gardener's World. Do people remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, before Toby. Before Monty. Now, I really liked Toby, but he's got a podcast. He's got a show based in Radio Devon, 3 or 4 hours long, and it is absolutely brilliant. Have people ever have a problem trying to identify what a plant is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, there's loads of apps. I say use is called Google Lens, and it's free. Now I've got a pen in front of me, so people recognise that pen. It's a Sharpie. So I'm going to point the app at the Sharpie pen, and it's found it for me.
Okay.
So I can click on that, and I can go and buy it off the internet straight away. And it does the same thing with plants. Weather and radar. So have you ever found yourself thinking, oh, have I got time to run out into the garden, and do a bit of digging or planting, and there's a big black rain cloud there? Is it going to rain? I obviously use the BBC weather app, but it's not 100% accurate. Now this thing is really quite good. So if you scroll down on this app and you click on this, it shows you a live radar of the UK, of wherever you are, and you can zoom in as well if you want to. And you can always see if there's a rain cloud coming. So there's a little thing at the bottom, so you can move it backwards and forwards, so you can see how the rain clouds are moving. So if there's there's nothing there at the moment because it's a clear sky, obviously, but I can see now it's going to be a clear sky all night, so it's going to be pretty cold. But during the day, it is very useful, because if you can see a bit of rain in Shrewsbury and it's coming towards you, and it's going to be there in 10 minutes, then you better quickly run out and bring the washing in.
Yeah, your tip on the runner beans, does the same work for climbing French beans? Was it just runner beans, do you know?
Yes, go on, Fiona.
I've got some roses, and they're supposed to be little tea roses, and they're absolutely huge. They grow up to 6 and 7 feet, and I don't want them that big. How do I keep them smaller?
Joe, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I thought I'd mention just Fiona. Joe works at David Austin Roses.
Oh no!
No, Joe.
I'm going to put her on the spot.
I don't know much about tea roses, but do you prune them?
Could I ask a question, please? Yeah. 3 years ago, I went to Gardener's World Live and really took to the Hercules. I've got an odd one, but I really liked them, and I put them all around the borders. I've been told that you have to divide them every 3 years. Is that right?
I think some hookers seem to throw out
a smaller plant at the side, which I found, and you can just dig them up and replant them.
Next door's buddleia over there, and it's hanging right over my fence and annoying me all the time.
Oh.
Maybe suggesting they swap it for a buddleia buzz, a shorter version.
Yeah, that dwarf one.
So,
I wish they would.
John, did you want to ask something?
Well, I just asked Jo whether she makes any recommendation about fertilizers, really.
But it's that's really basically all you need to do, and then plenty of water, and that's all I do for the roses.
So can everybody, if anybody knows what mycorrhizal fungi is, just wave. So I know how many people know what that is. Okay, so basically, like, you know, you can, from when you go to the garden centre, you can get little, say, fertilizer pellets, and you can put it into your compost with your plants, and it feeds the plants over, you know, 3 months, 6 months. There's something similar. It's not actually a feed, it's completely different. It's called mycorrhizal fungi, and basically it is a replica of the good bacteria that you get in the ground. So like, you know, when you eat you know, there's Yakult yogurts, it's good bacteria for your belly. There's bacteria in the ground which help the plants establish and take up nutrients, and that's what mycorrhizal fungi is. So you can buy that from the market, from the garden centre, and that is really useful for shrubby plants and roses. But you can buy it on Amazon at the moment. They've got it on, not sale, but discount to £12 for 500 ml.
Yeah, let me have a look what we're selling it at. I can tell you, £13.95 with the, that's for 250 millilitres. Ours must be bigger, a bigger SB plant and bigger.
I'm sure the one on Amazon is 500 ml.
I'm sure it is.
I'll have to check that for the next meeting.
I'll have a word with our purchasing manager.
Just before anybody asks any other quick questions, I'm just going to, maybe I shouldn't do this, but can everybody see that screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, 500 millilitres.
Yeah.
14.99.
Yeah, it was 11.99 yesterday when I checked.
Shall I share my screen?
Go, if you want, go for it. Yeah.
Has everyone dug up their dahlias yet? Oh, okay. Because we're always told to wait for a frost. So when they die down, we dig them up. But we don't get any frost now, do we, really?
Any other questions? Yep, go on, Janet. You're on mute, by the way.
Does anybody recognise that fern?
Go on, Liz.
In relation to Janet's fern, I don't think I'd put it in the garden in the winter.
Again, it's obviously all COVID dependent for next year. But if anybody's willing at some point next year in spring to have a few of us round, and it will just be limited numbers, please let us know. We did have our first offer. I saw a chap as I was running the other day, Ian, and he kindly offered to, he's waving, I hope he hasn't forgotten. I've grown Purple Majesty for years and years and years. Can you see that?
Yes.
So I actually trialed about a dozen different varieties, and these two I think were my favorite ones. I mean, that's a 70-litre pot, and it was just bursting with potatoes. But like I said, I've tried lots of different varieties. There's red ones as well. So my question is, it was quite nice this year that we were all growing something together, something that was similar. So my question is, would you like to do the same sort of thing again next year? I know people have already sort of mentioned it to me, that they'd like to repeat the potato thing, but I just wanted to get a collective opinion. Would you like to do the same thing? Would you like to do something different? I mean, would you like to do something completely different? I mean, I don't know, would you like to try and grow a banana, or would you want to stick with the potatoes and do a different variety, like maybe a red and purple? Or...
Say potato. Potato.
Potatoes, yeah. Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Good. Okay.
Potatoes are good.
Good.
And you sometimes see one of them on your plate in a posh restaurant. But
Yeah.
they are absolutely gorgeous little cherry-sized fruit without any large stones in them. And they're absolutely delicious. I eat them all the time.
Nice.
Indy, how many?
You've got them as well.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of them I picked recently. Still eating them.
And I've got me physalis. The
That's
first
it.
time I tried to read that word out, I actually said syphilis by accident.
Anyway, they're wonderfully easy to grow.
That's it. So thank you everybody for coming. So hopefully I'll see you all on the 9th of December for Phil's talk.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.